Friends, welcome to Las Vegas and probably the most exciting new car of the year. Now, last time we met, we were in a safari. That's right, we were doing the Seltos. And you may be wondering to yourself, where is MOTOMAN? Well, MOTOMAN unfortunately is indisposed, but instead you've got me and Tommy behind the camera.
Hey guys, and today we are looking at the new C8 Corvette.
That's right, I think it is, well, a budget Ferrari, Tommy. It starts at about $59,000, and if you get all the bells and whistles you can hit $90,000, but that is still a couple $100,000 below the cost of a Ferrari. So let's talk about what makes this car such a performance bargain. You want to do a walk around first?
I will, absolutely. So this, of course, is the new mid-engine C8. It has a 6.2 liter LT2 V8 that develops just under 500 horsepower and about 470 pound-feet of torque. Why don't you pop open the rear hatch so we can see that naturally aspirated V8 goodness. So you can see it lifts up, and what you have right there is access to the engine. And the cool thing is you actually have a huge storage cubby here which will fit not one but two sets of golf clubs.
Yeah, why are they using golf clubs? Since when has that become a measure of how much room a vehicle has? I guess the guys who buy this play golf. I'd go with roller bags myself, but you know, I guess two sets of golf clubs. It's big, but there is more, Tommy, because this car also has a frunk. Why don't we show them?
Yeah, it absolutely has a frunk, and if you do want your roller bags, Chevrolet says that the front is perfect for a carry-on bag, your traditional plain carry-on bag. Why don't we show them that? Ooh.
It's actually deeper than it looks. Let me take off. Look how deep that is.
Yeah, it's actually a surprisingly big hole, and there's actually three ways to get into the front trunk. So you can use the button on the door, you can use the key fob, and there's actually another button here underneath the headlight, and it pops open.
Yeah, look at that. That is a really cool hidden feature. Now, if you guys are aware of the Corvette, you know that perhaps one of its chinks in the armor has always been the interior, because let's face it, there's been a little bit of cost cutting in the past. Maybe the C6, the C7 got a lot better, but this interior, Tommy, is glorious. And you know what? To show it to them, let's take the top off, because that is a better way to get inside.
Now, to get into the actual Corvette, there's no visible door handles. Once again, hidden handle here underneath the door. Window opens up just a little bit, and now we can see the interior. This one, of course, is the Z71 with the carbon fiber roof, and there's just a couple of latches, and the whole panel just simply lifts off.
Yeah, these two latches, look at even the details in here, Tommy. You've got this beautiful stitching on the top of this panel that comes off. And by the way, you can get a clear panel as well. How cool is that?
That's really cool.
So this is a one-person operation. Voila, look at this. And then the cool part is you can store it inside the trunk. And you think, well, now it's going to bang around, but check this out. Watch this. Look at that. Just snaps right in. How cool is that? And the other cool thing is this. Now, you don't have to slam it. It's this simple. Just hit it, and it closes. Voila. Now, if you're a fan of the C7, you'll note that it had four exhausts that were centrally mounted. Not anymore, right, Tommy?
Not anymore. Now, you do still have the quad rear tail lights, but now your quad exhausts are on each end. And if you get the Z71 performance package or the optional exhaust, that's how you get the most horsepower. That's how you get 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds.
Hey, there's a beautiful blue one behind you. Look at all the different colors. Why don't you show them?
Yep. So they're all pulling in. That's our Elkhart blue. There's also a bronze. There's a total of 12 colors and 6 interior colors. So really you have your choice of exactly how you want to spec your new 2020 Corvette.
I kind of feel like we're in the way. Why don't we move the car and get out of the way here, Tommy? Let's move it a little bit. Hop in with me, would you? Let's start this bad boy up. You know, there are 3 different seat options you can get in this car. Did you know that?
Yeah, there's a GT1 seat, a GT2, and then the competition seat.
And check this out. We have a push button transmission, which is actually really cool. And I'm not a big fan of push buttons, but this one is actually really nice. To put in reverse, just go R, pull back, and there you have it. And of course, you get this new mirror that works like a regular mirror, or if you want a much wider angle, there's a camera on the back, and you can just use it as a camera, which gives you a much greater view, because of course this is a mid-engine sports car, so you know, visibility can be a little tight.
What do you think of the square steering wheel?
I'm not a big fan of the square steering wheel. I just think it's kind of, well, my OCD kind of gets the better of me. But what I do love about this car is that everything in here that you touch, if it looks like it's metal, it's metal. You know, the real leather, real bezels, just a beautiful interior. And check out the cameras.
Yep, so there are a number of cameras here. This one is our top-down camera. We also have a backup camera, 2 different angles of backup camera, but by far the most convenient is the triple camera and the top-down camera. So if you approach a curb, you can see if or when you're going to run into it. You also have your drive mode selector here, and we have a number of drive modes, which you can see here in the center. So it ranges from My, which is your individual mode, Weather. Then of course you have Tour, which is your standard drive everyday mode. You have Sport, that opens up the exhaust baffles, and then Track. But you also have a little button called Z there on the steering wheel.
Yeah, think like the M button on a BMW. It's very similar, and that one you can basically get all the beans out of the car right away, so it puts it into its most aggressive driving. And what's really cool about this car, Tommy, and you know this, it has a unique transmission.
It does. It has an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, brand new for the car. Compared to that brand new engine, it makes a great noise, and it goes like stink.
And if you're a fan of manuals, well, wah, wah, unfortunately no more manual. Now let's talk about this design, because this is a little controversial. This entire dashboard is very driver-centric, right? So everything around me is basically aimed at me as a driver, and that includes these kind of interesting controls. So up here we have my HVAC temperature controls, we have heated and cool seats. Over here we have the typical where does the air flow, how fast is it flowing. Down here are the driver controls. Now that's also redundantly put into the screen here, so if you don't like controlling it here, but there's a problem, Tommy.
What's the problem?
And that is, where do you put your elbow?
Yeah, that's right. So you can see it's a little hard to get comfortable as a passenger in this car. It's also almost impossible to use the 8-inch screen as a passenger, but that's okay. I mean, it's driver-centric. It's the new Corvette. It feels like an airplane cockpit.
Yeah, and the numbers are pretty impressive. So Chevy says 0 to 60 in just under 3 seconds, a top speed of 194, and that's a real top speed. They said they've actually taken it that fast. It's of course not electronically governed. And a price that starts at $60,000 to $90,000, which is a supercar bargain. I mean, you know, to get 500 horsepower for $60K and all this interior quality is pretty impressive, wouldn't you say?
Yep. So why don't we stop here for a sec? I want to show them some other stuff on the outside.
All right, let me park it over here. And in terms of how it drives, we just spent the whole day at the racetrack, and I got to tell you, I was terrified to go into the racetrack because, let's face it, I'm not a race car driver, and a good car will make a bad driver like me feel like I'm fast, and actually not just feel like I'm fast, but be fast. And I thought I was pretty fast in this car, so it makes going fast easy. All right, I'm going to put it in park. Once again, just hit the P button, and why don't you give him a bit of a Tommy walk around?
Absolutely. So the interior is available in just tons and tons of colors. It's all configurable, including the seat belts. So this one has the yellow seat belts against the Rapid Blue, which is a $500 option. This one also has the Z51 Performance Package, which gives you the rear spoiler, the electronic limited slip differential, performance summer tires. There's also a magnetic ride available. They call this right here the Boomerang, which is the side vent, and you can get this in either this black or body colored finish. Really, it's a lot like Porsche. If you want your Corvette configured a specific way, you can get your Corvette configured a specific way. And when will it be available?
Yeah, that's a great question. They're actually building them right now. They started about 2 weeks ago, and they're going to hit the dealerships at the end of this month, and then they should be available either at the end of this month or if you've got an order in beginning of April. The other cool thing about this car, beginning of March, the other cool thing about this car, of course, is you've got asymmetrical wheels and tires and different colored Brembos. Why don't you show them?
Absolutely. So in the front we have a 245 series, and it's a 19-inch tire, and then in the back actually we have a 305, a massive tire, and it's a 20-inch wheel. So you do get that Hot Wheels stance, and this one has yellow brake calipers made by Brembo.
But you can get them in different colors.
Yeah, with the Z51 branding.
Yeah, you can get black, you can get red. You
get
can
a different red?
You can get polka dot. No, you can't get polka dot. You can't get polka dot. But what you can get is just a lot of customization, right? I mean, we've probably seen, what would you say, 20 cars, and not one of them is the same. It feels a little bit like Mini in terms of just how you could make this car spectacular to your particular taste.
You're absolutely right, and you absolutely have to see the engine. So venting here on the back, which allows heat to escape. You also have venting through this panel, and then there is that LT2. It's a dry sump lubricated engine with 3 scavenge pumps. So a lot of race car technology in this vehicle, and Chevrolet says that you can run this car all day long on a racetrack in 100 degrees and you're not going to overheat it.
Yeah, the old vehicle, especially the high performance ones, had issues of overheating, and they said that they've raised the thermal temperature on this car so that, well, it shouldn't overheat, because the radiators are where? They're in the front, right? You can actually see them.
Yep, so the standard car actually has 2 radiators, and they're both in the front. If you get the Z51 package, you actually get a 3rd radiator back here in one of the vents.
And perhaps one of the coolest things about the new Corvette is this really cool pin feature, where basically if you hate the sound of a scraper or spoiler scraping against the ground splitter, then what you can do is you can pin that location of that speed bump to the navigation system, and the car will actually raise itself 1 inch every time it goes over the speed bump, or let's say you're at home, to go up your driveway so you don't scrape the scraper, so you don't scrape the spoiler or the splitter in the front, which I think is pretty cool. The one thing that is very different from the outgoing C7, of course, Tommy, is the engine note. So I think I should start it up and drive out of here so you guys can hear it. What do you think?
Yeah, let's hear it. Put it in sport mode so we get the maximum sound.
I was going to put it in track mode.
Sure, put it in track mode. Just don't crash it.
Here we go. Yeah, no. Friends, thank you for joining me and Tommy for this C8 review, and I think I gotta just kind of hit the gas and pull out of here. Tommy, what do you think?
Maybe.
Oh.
Just we're not supposed to, but just gently. Yep, don't.